Obviously, disappointing because I thought we did some good things and we're right there to have a chance to win the game against a really, really good team. Um, Defensively, the first 25 minutes, I thought's the best we've defended all year against a team of that offensive caliber. I thought that was really encouraging. We wanted to play with 11 or less turnovers. We had 12. I thought in the first half that we played about as well as could possibly play on defense, period, and that their best offense was points off our turnovers. I just felt like going into halftime we're up 5, and I felt like it should have been around 10. And I thought that the couple momentum plays, the 2 made free throws on the foul, the turnover, and I call it pick 6, but pick 2 there at the end of the half felt like pick 6, right? I mean, just it turned it a little bit. And otherwise, what was clearly our best defensive half of the year wasn't even close. And I thought we were in against 2 good guards, so that was encouraging. Then the second half, I thought we started out pretty well the first 5 minutes. I don't know what the score was, right around 15 or so. I think, we're in business. The defense had kind of continued at that point. And then, they go on a 14-0 run that I thought at that point in time we detached our offense a little bit to our defensive intensity. And I know that's easy to do when you miss 10 shots in a row for older and younger teams, but I just expect more, man. I do. We'll take a look at those shots. We had 2 turnovers during that stretch. I don't want to have any, but Mav had one there in the post trap, and then there was another one where Tracy lost the ball. Both those led to 4 of the 14 points. But give the kid Brantley credit. I thought he was a real game changer. He got in the game, and it seemed like every point he scored was during that run. It may have been. And that was he made a real difference in the game. So we go through all that and kind of muck our way to the end and think he makes a 3 to cut it to 5 with 3 and change. And I'm feeling like we got a shot here. We got a pretty good shot. And then obviously we, missed a 1-and-1. We need to probably not come up empty on and then had, 2 looks for J. Cole on some things we ran that were open. One of them was kind of a tough shot there, as the clock towards the end. But 2 of them were wide open, and he didn't make them. He usually makes those. Thought they did a good job on Hill. Hill didn't have it tonight. And at the end of the night, at the end of the day, I'm certainly not picking on our, starting 1, 2, and 3. I love all 3 of them. But if you told me going in the game they were going to go 8 for 29, that's probably not going to bode real well for us. So they've got to make a few, and I'm confident that they will. All in all, though, just disappointing because I thought that we played some pretty good basketball really this week. Would have liked to have gotten both, but it just didn't go that way. Questions?
Brad.
During that stretch, the 11 straight stops there, 9 missed shots, 2 turnovers, no second chance, and all of them were jump shots. It seemed like. Did you want to have them more attacking?
We did for sure. The problem was, we didn't handle the post trap good enough. We got to be better there. We have been better throughout the year, and we actually have liked it when guys have done that. We had a scheme set up, and I didn't think we executed it great. Give them credit. They're athletic and long. And when we threw the ball inside, they doubled or came with post help. And when they did, we threw it out, made the right play, and missed a lot during that stretch. So, Mav, obviously 4 turnovers is too many for him. I think a couple of them were in the post trap, but he had some nice passes out of there where we just didn't make it. So obviously we're making whatever we are, 38% from 3 coming into the game with, Malcolm, Tracy, J. Cole, AJ Kinshaw, all those guys, Finke, and we just didn't make enough of them on inside out, action. But give them credit. I mean, I think it's the first game I've ever picked up a stat sheet and seen Malcolm Hill without a free throw, but I'm sure Turds would say the same thing about Trimble, So that's the first time he's probably seen that in a while too. So it kind of equaled itself out a little bit because both those guys are top 25 in the country in free throw rate individually of all the players in college basketball. So, we must have done a pretty good job on him, and they did a good job on Malcolm.
John, he was so good earlier and looks like a different player the last few games. What's up with Tracy?
Yeah, he struggled today. Obviously did not shoot the ball very well. Like to have a couple of his decisions back. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. He and I will talk. He cares, obviously, a great deal. So we'll have to figure it out, but he can play better.
In the middle room.
John, in terms of when you're scouting Maryland, obviously it starts with Trimble and goes from there. But when you have a guy like Brantley come off the bench and do what he did in the second half, how much does that throw off what you're trying to do defensively?
Well, we had him pegged on the ski. He's been great. If you look at his statistics against Illinois, he's been terrific. And so our guys certainly respect him, and he's a good player, and we're very well aware of what he brings him off the bench. And, I thought that, obviously he got – anytime you see the ball go in the hole, it gives you a little confidence. And he got a couple turnover points off our turnovers for a layup or two. And now you start feeling pretty good. Then he got Lucas on a couple scouting things where he didn't recognize actions and got banged for a couple threes. Now all of a sudden he's feeling really good, and just is what it is. But I thought he was a difference maker, as I said earlier, because we had defended really, really well for the bulk of the game. I liked our energy level defensively, other than maybe during that stretch. And I know, I just expect more. It's hard when you miss 10 in a row, and I know it's hard, but God dang, we've got to be unconditional there. I did think that our defense just didn't quite have the same pop during that run that it had the first 25 minutes of the game.
Brad. Looking at the last 4 games, Finke has started to shoot the ball pretty well.
Sure.
He's like 6 for 6 from 2 and like 5 for 8 from 3 the last 4 games. Does he need to be more active and look for shots a little more, or what do you need to do to get?
Well,
him more
I think he's just taking what's there, doing a good job of it. And obviously, we've played him a little bit at 4 and 5 the last couple games, which makes him a tougher cover and opens up some things. And Michael's playing well right now from the standpoint of shooting the ball, obviously, and that's a good thing. I think at the end of the day, him going 2 for 2, Black and Morgan are 11 for 20, so it's hard when 1, 2, and 3 go 8 for 29, and they won't do that very often. I mean, they're and a lot of those were pretty good looks. We got to knock a few of them in.
Scott,
You said after the Michigan game that can't count on shooting 64% every game, but I guess to shoot 28 in the second half, is that a little more than just kind of getting back towards the mean?
Sure. Obviously, I expect us to make a few more of those. I mentioned that, there earlier, Scott. I thought that we had some pretty good looks. I thought we play inside out, and I thought we were able to do that. And when we had chances to throw it back out, we just didn't capitalize on it enough. Give them credit. They're good. I mean, obviously, they're really good. Like I said, we did some good things. Certainly, as I was reminded downstairs by someone, a lot different than the first time around when we played them, and that's a good thing. But still, I just thought the game was hanging in the balance right there. Thought that 14-0 run was the difference. Thought Brantley was the difference, and then we just needed to make a few more plays with our playmakers. Just a few more.
Louis in the back.
Coach, sort of piggybacking off in the shooting, it seems like with this team there's such a correlation between shots falling and then defense. When the shots are falling, the defense seems to come with that, and then when you get into a drought, the defense seems to fall apart at the same time. Why does that always happen with this team, especially late in games?
Well, I wouldn't say always. The other night, I'll be honest with you, I thought our defense was better the first 25 minutes tonight than it was in the Michigan game. I thought it was terrific tonight. I thought we played it really, really well. And it was pretty good in the Michigan game, too. But I thought the 25 minutes, especially the first half, I'm walking at halftime, like I said to myself, I said, man, I feel like we should be up 10. They're a juggernaut offensively with those 2 guards, and they're shooting. And they got 27 at the half. And, 7 of them, I think, were points off turnovers. So I felt pretty good defensively about that. Obviously missing 10 in a row is a little, exceptional in the wrong direction. So I don't ever want to be – I tell those guys we don't ever want to be front runners, meaning you attach your defensive effort and your mindset to whether shots are going in or not. I thought we did a little bit during that stretch when it was 14-0 on the run and we missed 10 shots in a row. You'll have to take a look at it on film. We didn't quite have the same energy level and pop. Certainly that's tempting for a lot of teams when you miss 10 in a row. That's a little bit off the reservation, But still, as I said earlier, I expect more. I expect us to be unflappable with that, and we've got to be that moving forward.
Jeremy.
John, I know a big focus for you was to keep those freshmen focused on the next game and perform. How did you think they responded?
Weren't great. They weren't great tonight. They could be better. Some scouting errors. Some things we'll take a look at in the film. Guys are really good players. They'll figure it out. They want to be good. But they made some plays here and there that were pretty good. But in games that are like this, where it's 2 possessions and 62-56 and 55-50 with 3 minutes to go, and every possession matters. And they're really good. They're gonna be good. You guys have seen that. But they made couple scouting errors here and there that I think we got to get cleaned up. They're not trying to make them. I don't think it was that they weren't attentive or lacked humility over the last couple days. They just made them. Part of that's gaining experience.